just yesterday, I had carpal tunnel release surgery done on my left hand. Hey, how's it going? Lee Hayward here. And just yesterday, I had carpal tunnel release surgery done on my left hand. And this is something that I've been dealing with for years, decades even. Since I was in my late teens, early 20s, I've had some mild carpal tunnel syndrome. And I think it was spurred on from weight training, martial arts, and the activities I was doing back then. And I've been able to manage it through exercise, keeping active, stretching, and different mobility exercises for the hands. Plus, you'll probably notice in some of my old training videos, I'm always wearing wrist straps. Now, I don't mean wrist straps that help you to hold on to weight, but I'm talking about just the regular wraps that go around your wrist, and that's to help to support the carpal tunnel. And that was a suggestion made by my doctor years ago to help take some of the strain off that carpal tunnel ligament, just to prevent some of the inflammation there. And that's something that has helped. It's kind of like a Band-Aid solution, and it's gotten me through a long time. But over the last few years, it's just been getting progressively worse. And the Band-Aid solutions of stretching and doing all the different mobility exercises and wearing the wrist wraps and the splints and all that kind of stuff just wasn't cutting it anymore. And it got to the point where I was in a lot of pain, and a lot of pain that I just couldn't get rid of. And that took place about a couple of years ago when it was really bad. That was when it was at its worst. And I reached out to my family doctor, who then referred me to a specialist. Long story short, the healthcare system now is so backed up since the pandemic days. I was put on a 2-year waiting list to get seen by a specialist, right? So that's when it was worse. Like, ideally 2 years ago, I would have liked to have had this done, because over those last 2 years, I've had some significant damage done to my hands. Like, I've noticed atrophy in the palms of my hands, like in the pad of my thumb area, and just the meat of the palm of the hand, that's actually atrophied, shrunk. Like, I've lost muscle tissue in my hands, and I now have significant nerve damage in my fingers because of this. And that was confirmed. I had a nerve test done a couple months ago. And when they did all the different tests, they said, yeah, there is significant damage from the carpal tunnel, that medial nerve that runs through the fingers there. This is significant. And they say, if you leave this untreated, then it's just going to progressively get worse and worse. And, it may get to the point where you start to lose the use of your hands, especially as I get, into my 50s, 60s and beyond. So like, that's something that I definitely don't want. So I said, we got to get this done. We got to do something about it. So I got scheduled in for surgery, and I finally had it yesterday. So one hand done, the left hand, which I think was the worst of them, but I had the left hand done yesterday. So basically now, underneath here, there's an incision right down the palm of my hand here where they opened it up and then cut that tendon that holds the wrists together there, right? I'll show a picture on the screen there just to explain it, but that tendon was cut, and this frees up the space there for the nerves so that you get more blood flow and circulation and less of that impingement on the nerve. So this is something that's done, and now I'm in the whole rehab process, and that's going to be a lengthy process. I mean, obviously I can move my fingers and stuff like that. It's painful. I mean, I've got a dull, achy pain in my hands all the time. Just been kind of managing it with some Tylenol, just kind of numb the pain a bit. But it's going to be several weeks before I even get into just light movement again. And then probably looking at a few months before I'm back into any significant training, as far as like weight training in the gym and lifting weights with my left hand again. So I know it's going to be a slow recovery process. And when I do finally get full mobility back into the left hand, then I plan on getting the right one done as well. Right? Because there's significant nerve damage in both hands, but you got to get one done at a time. It was kind of pointless to try and get two of them done at the same time, because you got to live. You got to be able to eat and go to the bathroom and do stuff. And trying to do it with one hand is bad enough, but trying to do it with both hands out of order, that's not practical. So one hand at a time here. And what I'm planning on doing now is documenting my rehab journey going through this whole process and what I'm planning on doing, to stay fit and active while I'm going through this. Because even though it's going to be a setback, right? There's definitely going to be a setback. I'm going to lose strength. I'm going to lose muscle because I'm not going to be able to train like normal. I'm going to do the best I can to minimize the damage during this rehab process and hopefully come back better than ever. At least come back without that impinging nerve pain and to prevent further nerve damage in the future. And some of the things that I'm doing, obviously focusing on the nutrition, like that's a big one, making sure that I'm eating enough protein, enough nourishment, nourishing the body on the cellular level to help aid with the recovery process, and just keeping active in general. Like, had the surgery done yesterday, but today I went outside and went for a nice 5K walk. Even though I can't do any upper body exercise or any lifting in the gym, I can still keep myself active by doing cardio. And that's something that I'm planning on doing now, especially as I start to feel better. Some of the pain starts to ease up and I get this brace and bandages taken off my hands so I get a bit more movement there. Plan on going back to the gym, and even though I won't be able to do any lifting, focus on cardio, focus on leg exercises, especially machine exercises, focus on core work, things that I can do without my hand, right? That's what I want to do. And I'm just thinking, like, a few years back, my wife, she actually broke her wrist, and even though she had her arm in a cast and was unable to do any upper body work, she still kept herself active. Like, we were still going to the gym, and that's exactly what she focused on, was leg training, cardio, core work, just machine exercises that she could do without having to grip or support anything with her broken arm. And she was still able to keep herself in relatively decent shape during that whole rehab process. And it prevented the relapse process, because a lot of times people will use something like this as an excuse. Well, hey, I can't work out, I can't go to the gym, and like, screw it, like, throw in the towel, and I'm not going to do anything until this heals up. And I think that's a big mistake, trying to have that all or nothing approach. Instead of focusing on what I can't do, I'm going to try and focus on what I can do and keep myself as active and as healthy, and focusing on things that are going to move me in the right direction, or at least, at the very least, minimize the damage during this whole recovery process. Because I've built myself up to a good level of fitness over the past summer, and I want to maintain that to the best of my ability. And then hopefully now for next summer, when this is all healed up and good to go, then I'll be able to operate and pain-free and full steam ahead. But I know it's kind of like taking one step back right now in order to take 2 steps forward in the future. So that's what I'm going through right now. And I'm going to be sharing my journey with you through videos and social media posts. So for those of you watching this, if you have had carpal tunnel surgery done, or you're suffering from it now, please let me know down in the comments below. Have a chat about it, because it's interesting to just get some real world stories and real world feedback on how this has worked. Like, have you had good relief from the surgery, and any issues or anything you'd like to share, feel free to post it down in the comments below. I'm quite optimistic about it, because both of my parents have had this done. It's kind of a genetic thing. It kind of runs in the family. So my mom has had it done, my father's had it done, and both of them have had some good results with it. So I'm going to get ready and clear this up, but I'll be back again, sharing some updates as things progress, letting you know how I do on my rehab journey coming back from carpal tunnel surgery release. All right, have yourself a good one, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Over and out.